Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever you're celebrating this week, make it a good one and a safe one with your family. Make sure you have some eggnog and some cookies with butter. I will be spending my Christmas Day in Pittsburgh. Last Sunday, I spent my day with this guy at a press conference with John Harbaugh and Joe Flacco, amongst others, trying to explain just what the hell happened at the end of the football game. Jeff Seidel has covered sports here for just about as long as I have, maybe even a little bit longer. I'll get to the root of all this. I began in January of '84. I think he was already at the Sun at that point. The Sun, the Sports Exchange, the Associated Press, and Press Box, and now awesome cancer survivor. We welcome Jeff Seidel back onto the program. You can follow his journey out on Facebook as well as out on Twitter at Jeff Seid. That's SEID 62, which Mike Flynn would approve of because that was his old number. Jeff, what's going on, man? Happy holidays to you, my friend.
Same to you.
Well, we were at the press conference, and we were shaking our heads, and I think everybody in the media room was shaking their heads. Certainly was not the best look for the Ravens down the line on Sunday in what was, up until the last 6 minutes, a relatively impressive home victory, right?
You know, in the end, they scored more points than Philadelphia. It may not have been beautiful, it may not have been perfect, but they got more points. You know, in the end, I think what people have forgotten about was, you know, C.J. Mosley made a hell of a play there at the end to tip the ball. I mean, you know, that's what good teams are supposed to do. You know, you win when you're not at their best. They weren't at their best. They still won.
It was disturbing to see.
What else can you ask?
Yeah, but it was disturbing to see the last two drives and to see them put in that position by, I guess what Harbaugh later called greed, good old-fashioned greed for offense, which when it works out and you got the 17-point lead and there's 6 minutes left and you kick the ball off and everybody's leaving, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. When you get picked off at the 5 and next thing you know, you're in a one-score game and you can't run the ball, there was a lot to not like about the end, but everything goes out the window with Pittsburgh. And all the boats are level now, right? It's going to be a Christmas afternoon game. It's going to be on the road. The Ravens have dominated this series. There's nothing to say that the Ravens can't go to Pittsburgh and win on Sunday.
Well, they've done it before. I mean, the question is, you know, they handled them pretty well here in Baltimore. You know, especially in the first three quarters. You know, but then again, Big Ben had just been coming off the surgery, so I wonder how sharp he was. But you know, Pittsburgh will be ready and they'll be waiting.
Le'Veon Bell and running the football and something that the Ravens have been pretty adept at doing this year, stopping the run. Not so much last week. And, you know, there have been some intermittent struggles with this. Obviously, Ezekiel Elliott did a little bit of damage as well as he's done the most of the league. Le'Veon Bell damages most of the league right now. And I get the vibe they're playing some of their better football. I know the first half wasn't representative of that. I know the Bengals doubled on Antonio Brown most of the day and didn't give him a lot of room to breathe. But stopping Le'Veon Bell, that would be a nice start to trying to win this game on Sunday.
Well, he's been hard to stop for a lot of teams. They kept him pretty quiet when he was here, you know, in Baltimore. But, you know, I don't know. They're probably, you know, I know a lot of people think that the NFL is kind of like a copycat league. And, you know, people are going to see the way that Philadelphia did that blocking on, you know, on the backside scheme, which worked pretty well on Sunday. I'm sure the Steelers are looking at the film and saying, you know, so I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some form of that because Bell's a good cutback runner.
Jeff Seidel joining us here, longtime local sports writer, writing in a bunch of different places. You can follow him out on Twitter at Jeff Seid. That's SEID 62 as well. Yeah, do you think the Ravens are going to win? You know, what is your gut as you put the television on Sunday afternoon?
I'll tell you, I honestly don't know. I think if they play their best, yeah, this is going to be like straddling the fence. If they play their best, they'll win. But if they come out making mistakes, I think they're going to lose, and it's going to ruin their season.
Well, yeah, I mean, holding on and thinking that miracles are going to happen next week. I mean, this is their chance to handle their business and get into the playoffs. If they don't win on Sunday, odds start to go down the drain, and you start to look to, places like Buffalo for help and Cleveland for help, which isn't a lot of help at this point.
Right, and the other thing is, I mean, the one thing that's confused me about this team from the word go is just why they won't try to run the ball more.
Well, that was the question with 6 minutes left to go in the game down at the goal line. And, I approached Flacco about it, as did the rest of the media. And it was pretty clear that they were being aggressive. They thought they were one play away from ending the game in a 17-point lead. I don't think they were thinking much about the clock. And I think they get into a groove where they think a turnover's not going to happen. You don't ever want to consider a turnover or think about a turnover or plan to turnover, plan to have a plan B after you turn it over. Their plan was to try to get into the end zone. I admire that, but when it backfires, they could have at least shaved a couple minutes off the clock there by running the football, and they were running it pretty well. I mean, it doesn't feel like the other teams ever stopped them from running. It feels like they just stopped running.
Yeah, they do. Matter of fact, if you look at their numbers this year, I think it's at least 2/3 to 1/3 passing to running now. I know the NFL has changed in recent years. Teams always want to throw the ball. 3rd and 2, you see empty backfields all the time. But this year, they just haven't tried to run much at all.
Jeff Seidel covering all things local sports here and joining us, talking a little bit of Ravens and Steelers. This rivalry's gotten a little lopsided in the Ravens direction. I mean, you're a young old-timer like me. You remember when we came into the league, it was like, I can't believe guys in Steeler jerseys actually grace us by coming to Baltimore and beating us by 3 touchdowns. And I know we had the one rain game back in the 90s, but, this was always sort of the Waterloo. Can you go to Pittsburgh? Can you win? Can you beat Jerome Bettis? Can you beat Hines Ward? Back in the day, it was Cordell Stewart. A little bit of that lion is gone from that fight, I think. There's no one on the purple side, let alone Steve Smith and this crazy Mike Mitchell thing he's got going on, that feels intimidated about going to Pittsburgh. Matter of fact, I think guys like Suggs sort of go up there and enjoy wearing the black hat and the face paint and being the bad guy up there, being the WWE heel, right?
Well, the one thing that was interesting, you saw this on Sunday in the press conference. Flacco was talking about it, and he was like, I love going up there. They're not scared.
Yeah, it's kind of like fun for them, right? I mean, in some sort of a weird way. And this rivalry, I think, is fun for everybody. I think, on a Christmas day where, the world's gathering and there's love and peace and tranquility, at least we think, right, as well as food, this is one of those special sort of holiday days where the whole country's tuning in. I mean, it has that Thanksgiving sort of appeal, and I think it has universal appeal. Just outside of Baltimore and Pittsburgh, people will stop and watch this game because the perception is it's going to be a pretty good football game.
Well, these are 2 hard-hitting football teams, and they've always played well against each other. They've always played well, period. The one difference between the 2 teams has been, when you look at the offense, is that, Roethlisberger's a little better. The Flacco, however, he's got hurt a lot more than Flacco. But it's going to be a good game because it always is, and it's going to be a hard-hitting game, and it always is.
Hey, Jeff, great having you on, man. Good to visit with you. We're going to send everybody out to follow you out on Twitter at JeffSide62, as well as at the Sun, Sports Exchange, AP, Press Box. He writes everywhere. Jeff, happy holidays to you, man. We'll see you before the weekend's over.
Same to you.
Great to have you on. Jeff Seidel joining us here live via satellite and talking all things Ravens. You can find me out in the Bio Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear. Mike Wallace will be our guest on Tuesday night. We'll be swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry. And there goes my hero in the DKMS. We're going to be up at Adams Jeep in Aberdeen doing that with Mike Wallace. It'll be fun to sit down and chat with him as well as CJ Mosley earlier this week. And we've sat with Zach Orr and Anthony Levine and Marshall Yanda. We've had a lot of fun the last couple of weeks. Dennis Pitt has come out and joined us as well. It's been fun county to county, from Harford County to Baltimore County to Carroll County. We've mixed it up. We're also headed to London next fall. If you want to get on the WNST road trip to London, all the details now up under the Trips tab. It is on sale. Yes, you can buy it. Yes, it's going to save you a ton of money to buy it now. So get on up there and check that out. Throw me an email anytime. nasty@WNST.net. I am a very available individual. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and streaming live on our Facebook Live as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.